And the threat doesn't come from predators. It doesn't come from the weather. It comes from the one thing you put up to help her, your own feeder. Last summer, one of my viewers sent me a message. She wrote, "My goldfinch just stopped coming. I don't know what I did wrong." So I asked her a few questions. What kind of feeder are you using? How old is your seed? Where exactly is your feeder placed? So I asked her a few questions. What kind of feeder are you using? How old is your seed? Where exactly is your feeder placed? The moment she answered, everything made sense. And here's what hit me. That same mistake is happening right now in millions of backyards across America, maybe even yours. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to walk you through 5 silent mistakes that are quietly hurting your goldfinch this summer. And with every single mistake, I'll give you a simple, practical fix. Something you can actually do today, right now, in your own yard. No expensive products. No complicated setup, just small, easy changes that can completely transform your goldfinch's entire summer. And if you want to know what your backyard birds are really trying to tell you, go ahead and subscribe to Yard Bird Secret. Because that's exactly what we do here. We decode the hidden signals your backyard birds send you every single day. The ones most people never even notice. All right, let's get into it. You put up a feeder, a good one. You were proud of it. But here's the question most backyard bird lovers never think to ask. Is that feeder actually right for a goldfinch? Because the American goldfinch is a very specific little bird. She doesn't just land anywhere and eat. She needs a tube feeder or a sock feeder, something she can cling to, hang upside down from, and pull Nyjer seed out of, one tiny piece at a time. That's just how she's built. Now if you've got a platform feeder out there, or a tray feeder, she'll come, she'll look around, and she'll leave every single time. And you'll be standing at your window thinking, why won't she stay? The fix is simple. Swap it out for a Nyjer tube feeder. They're affordable, easy to find, and the moment a goldfinch spots one, she knows exactly what to do with it. Okay, so let's say your feeder is perfect. But when did you last fill it? Nyjer seed, sometimes called thistle seed, goes bad faster than most people realize. And in summer, it goes bad even faster. Here's what happens. The heat pulls all the natural oil right out of the seed. It dries out, goes stale, and a goldfinch can tell. She'll sniff it, taste it, and walk away. You look at your feeder and think, it's still full. What's the problem? But to her, that feeder might as well be empty. The fix: dump and refill your Nyjer seed every 2 weeks, especially in summer. And when you're buying seed, go for a smaller bag. A big bag feels like a deal, but if it goes stale before she eats it, you've lost both the seed and the bird. Fresh seed every time. That's it. You've got the seed covered. But what about water? This is the one thing most backyard bird lovers completely overlook. And in summer, it might be the biggest mistake of all. Here's the thing about American goldfinch. She's tiny, and a tiny body dehydrates fast. When temperatures climb to 90 degrees Fahrenheit and above, she needs water every few hours. Not just to drink, but to bathe, because bathing is how she keeps her feathers cool in the summer heat. And when there's no water in your yard, she doesn't wait around. She flies to the next yard that has it. And she might not come back. The fix: set up a shallow bird bath. Nothing fancy, just 1 to 2 inches of water. That's the sweet spot for a bird her size. Change the water every couple of days. In summer heat, it gets dirty fast, and dirty water is almost worse than no water at all. Clean water, shallow depth, right next to her feeder. That's all it takes to make your yard her favorite stop. This one is the most common mistake I see, and honestly, it makes total sense why people do it. You put your feeder out in the open, where you can see it from the window, where it looks great in the yard. But in summer, that same open spot becomes a slow torture chamber for your goldfinch. Think about it this way. Could you stand outside in 95 degrees Fahrenheit direct sun and enjoy a meal? How long would you last? Neither can she. When a feeder sits in direct sunlight all day, the seed goes stale even faster. The metal or plastic gets burning hot, and the whole experience feels miserable to a bird that's already dealing with summer heat stress. So she lands, feels the heat, And leaves. The fix: move your feeder to a shaded spot. Under a tree, along a shaded wall, somewhere that gets gentle morning light, but stays cool during those brutal midday and afternoon hours. That one simple move, just relocating your feeder, can completely change how often she shows up. Now you might be wondering, okay, this all makes sense. But why does this happen in the first place? Why is the goldfinch so sensitive, especially in summer? Let me break it down simply. American goldfinch is what's called a late breeder. Most backyard birds are done nesting by early summer. Their chicks have hatched, fledged, flown off. But goldfinch? She's just getting started. Her nesting season hits right in the middle of summer, July and August, the hottest weeks of the year. And during those weeks, her body is doing two very demanding things at the same time. On one side, she's laying eggs, feeding her chicks, protecting her nest. On the other side, she's trying to survive the summer heat herself. That alone is exhausting. But here's what makes it even harder. This is also the time when she goes through something called molt. Molt is when a bird sheds its old feathers and grows brand new ones. And it sounds simple, but it takes an enormous amount of energy. Her body is essentially rebuilding itself from the outside in. Now think about what's happening all at once. Nesting, chick rearing, summer heat, and a full-body molt. That's not one challenge. That's four, hitting her at the exact same time. And when her body is already running on empty, bad seed, no water, a feeder baking in the sun, it pushes her right over the edge. She starts showing up less, eating less, singing less. And you stand at the window thinking, I haven't seen her in a while. She must have moved on. But that's not what happened. The truth is, she was asking for your help the whole time, just not in a way you could hear. So now the real question is, what do you actually do? Let's go through it. Step by step, nice and simple. If you don't have a Nyjer tube feeder yet, that's your first move. Pick up a simple Nyjer tube feeder, one with small, narrow ports designed specifically for Nyjer seed. That way only the right seed comes out, and your goldfinch can cling to the side, hang upside down if she wants, and eat exactly the way nature built her to. You can find these at any local hardware store, garden center, or even online. They're not expensive, but the difference they make? Huge. Every 2 weeks, empty the feeder completely. Toss the old seed. Rinse the feeder with clean water. Let it dry fully. Then refill with fresh Nyjer seed. And here's a simple tip when you're buying seed. Go with a smaller bag. A big bag feels like a better deal, but if the seed goes stale before she finishes it, you've wasted both the money and the bird. Small bag, fresh seed, every 2 weeks. That's the rhythm. Go pick up a shallow bird bath. Depth should be no more than 1 to 2 inches. That's it. She's a small bird. She doesn't need a pool. Place it near the feeder, but not so close that seed falls into the water and makes it dirty. Change the water every couple of days. And if you really want to take it up a notch, add a small dripper or a little fountain. Goldfinches are naturally drawn to the sound of moving water. They'll find it faster. They'll come back more often. That one small addition can turn your yard into her absolute favorite spot all summer long. Take a look at where your feeder is sitting right now. Does direct afternoon sun hit it? If yes, move it today. Find a spot under a tree, along a shaded fence, near a pergola, or the side of your house. The goal is simple. Morning light is fine, even welcome, but that brutal midday and afternoon sun between noon and 4 p.m. should never be hitting your feeder directly. One small relocation, one big difference. Goldfinch doesn't like feeling exposed. She's not the kind of bird that sits out in the open and eats without a care in the world. She wants cover nearby, something she can dart into if she feels threatened. If you've got a tree or a shrub close to your feeder, you're already set. But if your yard is pretty open, don't worry. Even a potted plant placed near the feeder gives her that sense of safety she needs. She'll land, she'll eat, she'll feel safe enough to stay a little longer, and she'll come back tomorrow. 5 steps. That's all it takes. No big investment. No complicated setup, just a little attention, a little care, and your goldfinch will be right there in your yard all summer long. Remember that viewer who messaged me? My goldfinch just stopped coming. I don't know what I did wrong. She went ahead and made every change we talked about today. New tube feeder, fresh Nyjer seed, a shallow bird bath. Feeder moved to the shade, and 3 days later, she messaged me again. Just 4 words. She came back today. That was it. No long message, no explanation, but I knew exactly what those 4 words meant. And that's really what all of this is about. This isn't just a bird. This is the little creature that shows up in your yard every single morning. The one you spot from your kitchen window while you're making coffee. The one whose song makes a quiet Tuesday morning feel a little more alive. She trusts your yard. She trusts your feeder. She has no way of knowing if the seed is fresh or stale, if the feeder is right or wrong, if the spot is too hot or just right. She just shows up, and she hopes your small actions, a better feeder, clean water, a shaded spot, fresh seed every 2 weeks. These aren't big things, but to her, they're everything. They're the difference between a summer spent suffering quietly in your yard and a summer spent exactly where she belongs. So the next time she lands on your feeder, bright yellow, comfortable, eating without a care in the world, singing that soft, sweet song, you'll know you made that possible for one tiny life that never asked for much, just a little bit of your attention. So now you know exactly what your American Goldfinch needs this summer, and exactly what's been hurting her without you even realizing it. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment down below. Which one of these 5 mistakes was happening in your yard? Did your goldfinch suddenly stop showing up this summer? Tell me what you noticed. I read every single comment. And if this video helped you, share it with a friend who has goldfinches in their yard too, because chances are the same thing is happening over there, and they have no idea. If you haven't already, subscribe to Yard Bird Secret. Every week we decode the hidden secrets of the birds living right outside your window, the signals they send, the behaviors most people miss, the simple fixes that actually work. This is the place for backyard bird lovers who want to go a little deeper. And in our next video, we're talking about the mourning dove. Why does she spend so much time walking around on the ground in your yard? What is she actually looking for? And what can you do to help her? You won't want to miss that one. We'll see you in the next one.